We have a motion, it's been supported. Are there any comments or corrections on the agenda? If not, we'll do a voice vote on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Next, I'll need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Have a motion and it's been supported. Are there any comments or corrections on that? If not, we'll do a voice vote on that also. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. So the minutes are approved. Next, we have public comment on an agenda item. And, have to go back to page. So, first we'll call Jen. I can't pronounce that point. Dyke. You can correct me. I don't know. How do you pronounce it?
They can't hear you.
Yeah, and it's very hard to hear you guys back there. I can hear myself, but your microphone.
No, you can open the mic.
Can you hear me now?
I thought we were using this.
No.
No.
Okay. Jen Knight, District 2. I'm here today because my elected commissioner expressed to me that they intend to vote no on the resolution. And in doing so, the resolution about vaccines and that's what I'm speaking on. Melinda Pagel's resolution that she entered in. Thank you. So I'm here today because my elected commissioner expressed to me that they intended to vote no on this resolution. And in doing so, choose not to represent me and many others in their district. We are not a small few. Each and every person has the right to make decisions regarding the benefits and risks in their healthcare choices and in their own families and their own living situations. By not allowing individuals to make their own decisions, you are taking away citizens' rights. And this is what you took an oath to uphold when you took your office. The reason I choose whether or not to take this vaccine may not be the same as yours, but we all assess and make personal decisions. And we all know people who have chosen differently, and we should respect their choice. You commissioners represent a diverse community, and I'm not talking race, I'm talking about individuals, and we are all valued people. It is important as a leader to recognize that because there are many different views on this matter, I ask that you represent your citizens, all of us, all of our views, all of our decisions, and vote for the rights of all your citizens. Vote to support this resolution. It is for the people. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the chance to talk.
Next up is Ellen Beal, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Ellen Beal, Village of Fruitport. Do you know how many children have tested positive in Florida as of last week? 243,000. Let that sink in. To me, this issue is really about our children. Children under 12 who cannot be vaccinated. Children like my 6-year-old granddaughter who is fortunate enough to live in a district that has a mask mandate. If that were not the case, she'd be starting another year of school online. Did you know that federal law requires that all children be provided a free, appropriate public education? And yet, because of the hysteria and fear about mask mandates, many parents of children with disabilities cannot endanger their child by sending them to school where masking is voluntary. By the way, any teacher will tell you that voluntary masking will not work. So, children with disabilities who need one-on-one or small group instruction, for whom online school is the least effective, are forced to remain at home because of a small vocal minority fighting mask mandates. Because of people who foolishly believe that wearing a mask only protects them instead of keeping them from spreading the virus to others. It's like smoking. Remember when people used to smoke in restaurants, on airplanes? I had an older member of my family tell me once, "Your right to smoke ends where my nose begins." You don't want your child to be required to wear a mask at school? Why don't you keep your child home and educate them online? Instead of passing this ill-conceived resolution, this board should be encouraging our county health director to exercise her legal and moral prerogative to implement a mask mandate for all school children in Muskegon County. By voting no on this resolution, you will be voting for science and common sense instead of fear and hysteria. You'll be voting for our health department to carry out their legally required mandates to protect the health and safety of our communities.
Ellen, I'm sorry, your time is up.
Thank you. Please vote for our children.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Kathy Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. It's a pleasure to see you all. I am here to speak in opposition to the non-binding waste of taxpayer money, waste of taxpayer time, my resources, of a resolution that was introduced by Ms. Pago, who wants to secede from the county. And Ms. Pago, just go home, secede, leave. Stop this nonsense and stop wasting my time as a taxpayer. And this ill-conceived resolution was put under unfinished business. And in the first part, it talks about the oaths of office. Ms. Pago, Mr. Laring, others, you've forgotten your oaths of office from the beginning when you started with all this nonsense to waste our taxpayer dollars and our taxpayer time. We're in a pandemic. You either do it with folks, history lessons, social science lessons, medical experience. That usually is the teacher in situations like this. We have a situation here, and Ms. Pago and Mr. Laring, you continue to waste the time, not only of your board colleagues, but all of your taxpayers and our money. I'd like to call for your resignations, if not your expulsion, on that advisory commission for community health so that you don't bully and continue to bully our public health director, Ms. Moore. So having said that, this is probably one of the worst written resolutions I've ever seen. It's contradictory in all sorts of areas of it, and it is non-binding. So why are we doing it? Furthermore, you didn't go through the leadership of your own commission to enact it or try to enact it. So read the rules, know your rules.
Kathy,
Thank you.
your time is up. Thank you. All right, next up is Kip Smith.
Hi, my name's Kip Smith. I'm from precinct 3 or district 3. I'm sorry. I am a precinct delegate. I oppose the resolution, and I hope that my commissioner will as well. Mr. Laring, Ms. Pagel, I got a lot of respect for you because you are who you are and you're doing what you said you'd do. And I can respect that. I don't agree with it, but I can respect that. Commissioner Hughes, I hope that you will be who you say you are, and I hope that you will vote against this resolution. This resolution quotes, as listed on the website, part of the Constitution, but only part of the sentence. The front part of the sentence is before that. It leaves out ensures domestic tranquility, provides for the common defense. This whole resolution is not helping our domestic tranquility at all. It's been a circus. It's been a hoop roar, and that's not tranquility. We also provide for a common defense. Masks are a common defense against the COVID disease. And sometimes you don't agree with the defense, but we as a country under our Constitution agree on a common defense, even if it leaves a bad taste in our belly. And the masks are shown to be a common defense. The resolution, well, I oppose it, and I know that people within my precinct who I've spoke with as well oppose it as well. And I can't speak for other commissioners other than my own, but I hope you do the right thing with your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Next, Ken Mahoney.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Mr. Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to address you today. I'm disappointed that a particular non-binding resolution is on the agenda at all for consideration. In my opinion, it has no bearing on the Commission's duties to the citizens of Muskegon County. Some of you need to read the mission statement of the county about representing the interests of all the citizens of the county and not get wrapped up into some national debate about vaccines. That's not a local debate, it's a national debate that has very little to do with residents of Muskegon County. Let those who have the expertise in healthcare deal with such things. And this commission needs to worry about the issues that will improve the lives of the residents, such as a new sewer line somewhere. Those kinds of things are important to the citizens. I normally don't complain about government overreach, but this falls into that category. I've asked the commissions to stay in your lane and not to create an authority you do not have. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Mahoney. Next up is, and I'm having a hard time reading this, looks like Terry Hample, Tori Hample, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Terry Hample. I live in District 8, and I have worked for the County Health Department for 3 years under Ms. Moore and the previous director there. I have a lot of sympathy right now for Kathy Moore having to deal with such a ridiculous resolution that's coming out of this board. I thought I had a lot more respect for you when you were basing any decisions you made on science and on representation of the people here in the county, but I'm starting to have my doubts now. And this is very sad. For me, as a health advocate myself, this is very sad, reading a resolution that makes absolutely no sense. It's contradictory. When you say protecting the health and welfare of people of the county, that means taking action to protect them from sickness and death. And let's face it, when I hear the news today that 375 people in the little town of Muskegon have died of COVID in the last year, it's very disappointing. But we haven't done a better job of protecting them. Anyway, I really urge a no vote on this resolution. Keep in mind that a resolution is not law. It's simply the opinions of a group of people like you. And I have lots of friends who are going to disagree with it if you do vote for this resolution. And I can pretty much guarantee that they're not going to vote for you in the next election if it passes. So please keep that in mind. I also want to just claim that and the health and welfare of this county seems to be up to other people other than this board, and I applaud them for doing their best to protect us all from this deadly COVID virus. Thank you. Please vote no.
Thank you very much for your comments. Next is Susan William.
My name is Susan Willia. I live in District 1 on Peck Street. I gotta say that while I've lived my whole life in the county of Muskegon, I have never encountered a commission with less interest in working on promoting the benefit and welfare of the residents of this county, with certain exceptions of individual commissioners. The proposed resolution opposing vaccinations and the use of masks to prevent the incidence of COVID among the residents of Muskegon County is just the latest insult of many. It's a direct assault on our health and well-being and represents a very real threat to many residents of the community, including children, disabled, elderly, immune-compromised people, frontline workers, essential workers, and people with little or no reliable access to health care. Passage of the resolution, indeed, just drafting this kind of a resolution, amounts to gross dereliction of the commissioner's duty to serve and promote the best interests of the people of Muskegon County, and gross repudiation of the oath you swore to uphold when you took office. I can't urge the commission strongly enough to abandon this dangerous and reckless course, and for once, do the right thing on behalf of the citizens of your county. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And next I have, looks like Tara Anderson.
Tana Anderson. I just want to come and ask that you would all consider voting for the resolution. But even more than that, I spoke last time, and I am glad that I live in Muskegon County where our health department hasn't mandated thus far and has trusted its constituents to make decisions about its health. This does not say we are telling people they can't be vaccinated. This resolution doesn't say you can't wear a mask. This resolution doesn't say that in order to go to school, you have to be vaccinated or you can't be vaccinated. It just gives people the choice to make the best health decisions for themselves. I'm sure you guys do not know my own health issues. You do not know that I have a daughter with an autoimmune disease. You do not know any of the risks that she has or could be for any various health decisions. And I never asked anyone to protect her or myself. She has celiac disease. Today is Celiac Disease Awareness Day. Every single time we go into school, into a restaurant, into a grocery store, we have our own decisions that we have to make for her health. I don't ask restaurants not to have gluten in there because it puts her at danger when I go in there. I expect everyone to make their own decisions for their health. And whether or not you pass this resolution, honestly, I think it protects our freedoms and our liberties, but I just further just ask that you continue to respect ourselves and our decisions that we're making. Give risks and benefits to all things. There are risks to vaccines. There's risk to getting COVID. Everyone's health issues are different and everyone has the right to make those decisions. I may want to have the vaccine because I may be more risk adverse to getting COVID or vice versa, but we all have to make the decisions from a truthful place. And that's what we want, is truth in what those risks are. Yes, there are kids who have gotten COVID, but there's a greater chance for young men or young boys ages 12 to 16.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
There are 4 online.
There are 4. Can you give me a name?
Lynn Frisinger.
I'm sorry.
Lynn Frisinger.
Oh, Lynn
Freisinger?
Freisinger, are you there on mute?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, Lynn.
Okay, thank you. My name is Lynn Freisinger Stribley. I live in Norton Shores. I'd like to address this resolution just on its face. I submit that the title "Resolution to Promote General Welfare" is a misnomer. It would be more appropriate to call it a resolution to interfere with general welfare. It's drivel. I'm a retired English teacher. If you guys would like to submit these to me ahead of time, I could help you write them better. It quotes the Constitution of the United States out of context and violates the Establishment Clause with the phrase "sacred inalienable rights." There is no COVID situation, as the resolution calls it. It is a worldwide pandemic. This resolution appears to be an overreach of the authority of the County Board of Commissioners. The Supreme Court of the United States has long upheld the authority of governmental bodies, including states, cities, and public schools, to issue and enforce vaccine mandates. Private employers have that authority by statute. The County Board of Commissioners can't change that. County Board of Commissioners is not a medical board, and it doesn't have the authority or expertise to make medical treatment recommendations to the citizens of Muskegon County, and it shouldn't try to assume that authority. I respectfully request you vote no, a resounding no, and stop wasting time on this kind of overreach and nonsense. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Stribley. Next is Josie James. Josie, please unmute.
Hello, everyone. I vote no on Commissioner Pago's resolution. I'm very concerned that we have a county commissioner who would present such a heartless resolution that would serve to leave school children unprotected from the COVID virus that is currently circulating. The rate of children testing positive for the virus has risen 240% since school began. Children can and they do die from this virus. And in fact, we can't rely on any one person's opinion to save our children. And I wonder also why a county commissioner, a mother, would not want to protect school-age children as our country has always done. The courts are deciding now whether parental refusal to have a child vaccinated constitutes medical neglect, an action or non-action that will fall under the purview of Child Protective Services. Imagine that we would have to call in the government to protect our children because we can't make humanitarian decisions on their behalf. Our children are born and come through us, but they're not ours. They're our future. And you have no right to try and make decisions that would harm the children just for your own selfish political gains. Please don't use the children as pawns for your politics. It is wrong on so many levels, medically, ethically, and morally. Do not pass this resolution that puts all children, our future, at risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stribley. Next is Michelle Hazekamp. Michelle, please unmute and you have the mic.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, I am calling because I do support this resolution. Each of us has unique health concerns and health needs. Some of us can get this vaccine and some of us can't. And I don't think that this decision should be forced upon us or chosen for us. Only I know my health concerns, my health needs, my children's, my family's. So I do support this resolution and I do hope that you pass it because it will show that you value our individual uniquenesses and that we are intelligent enough to make our own decisions along with our healthcare providers. I thank you and I surrender the rest of my time.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Next is Karen Palmer. Karen, please unmute and you have the floor. 2 minutes.
Thank you. You hear me all right?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. First, I wanted to thank Commissioner Pago. She knows how I feel about this resolution, and you all do. I've spoken about it before. I support it. I support this resolution because it allows for the freedom of choice, which is a foundational aspect of American life. This is, I'm going to answer some things that people said. So you're using CDC data. The CDC is falsified and promoted fraudulent data. When they put some things on their website and public releases, and at this very same time, they put something completely different in the federal registry, that's a fraud. That's a problem. and you're using their data repeatedly as if it matters. The PCR test is faulty. Case data is thus faulty. There isn't an issue here with the pandemic. The children are surviving it if they do get sick. There isn't a problem with the children. I have a problem with someone challenging Commissioner Pego, who is a mother, saying that she's heartless and she doesn't want to protect children. Ridiculous. None of those people on the board are heartless and want to harm children. I know this, even if they disagree with what I have to say. You have no right to make decisions regarding the health of children, you said. Yes, that's true. That's exactly right. And that's why she wrote this resolution. She knows that she has no right to make decisions for your children. She's leaving that choice up to you, at least with regards to the county government. Online education is not ideal for any child, but parents of healthy children are forced to do so also because of what they believe. That's not fair either, is it? Protecting our rights is her duty and obligation, and that's what she's doing with this. It's not overreach either. That's exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and they're authorized to do that. Thank you.
Time is up. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Next is, the screen name is Quiver Quill.
Hello, my name is Michelle Mixon. I'm a resident of Dalton County. Or township rather, I apologize. I'm asking the board to pass the resolution that is pro bodily autonomy here in Muskegon County. I'm not sure most people have actually read the resolution, because basically what it's about is saying that the decision to vaccinate, to test, to have anything to do with your own personal body's health is between the individual and their healthcare provider, and that the government shouldn't be getting in the way of those things. And I support that wholeheartedly. I appreciate this resolution for the children, for the parents, for all the citizens of Muskegon County, saying that we're capable of having this conversation with our doctor who understands our health history, our health problems, or maybe we're healthy individuals who can handle the vaccine, or maybe we don't. We have underlying conditions that the experimental status of this vaccine harkens concern, and that's reasonable. It's reasonable for people to say, hey, you know what, let's see how this goes for a few years before we make this decision, instead of it being mandated. I'm not sure if the commissioners are aware of a recent study that came out of Israel, which is the most highly vaccinated country in the world, which incidentally also has the highest number of COVID cases in the world, which is an interesting fact. A study recently came out in the last week or so that shows that natural immunity is 13 times more robust at fighting COVID or reinfection of COVID than the vaccine is. And for some reason, this isn't a part of the public discussion. I think that's a real failing in our public health system, which makes me want to speak to my doctor, not my bureaucrats, to make this decision. Please support the resolution. Thank you.
And during Muskegon, I commend Commissioner Pagel and also Kathy Moore, Director of our Health Department here. Kathy has gone through a lot, I'm sure, even within her own self, as to making a decision to turn this decision over to the schools. However, I feel it should have been turned over to the parents. The Muskegon County Health Department recognizes it is not the ultimate authority regarding a child's health care. Superintendents and principals are even less qualified. The ultimate authority of a child's health care lies with parents, with input from their health care advisor. We also, as adults, have authority over our own health care, and that is a right that should not be usurped. We need to have freedom of choice. You talk about the science, it's one way one day, another way the other day. How are we supposed to make intelligent choices except to talk with our own healthcare advisors and with the good Lord? Now, illegals are coming into our country. How do we know that they aren't bringing in more disease. There's also a case of measles that has come in. All right, a lot of them are not vaccinated. They don't even have to be vaccinated. Oh, they might change that. But we aren't even allowed to know where they're putting these illegals. They could be right here in Muskegon through Bethany Christian Services and other services. But I called Representative Heisinger's office and I was not allowed to have that information. You want to stop the pandemic? Stop bringing illegals in. Let us make our own choices. We are adults. Thank you.
Is Brian Allred. Brian, please unmute. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. go
Oh,
ahead.
yes. My name is Brian Allred, and I'm a resident of Muskegon County. I live in Fruitland, and I'm calling in support of Melinda Pago's resolution. And you know, this is a married woman who's raised or is raising a number of children. And if you know anything about her, I mean, she's pure in heart. She loves this country, and she loves all of us here in this county. And she only wants the best for all of us. And as parents, we have the right to decide what we're going to do with our children, whether they're vaccinated or not vaccinated. And as adults, we have that same right. That's a constitutional right given to all of us. And I would encourage the commissioners to look at the resolution and then vote for it, and vote with your conscience, and vote for freedom. Thank you.
Loretta Roberts.
Hi, my name is Laurette Roberts, and I live in the Dalton Township area. I'm very grateful to be here this afternoon. I learned about this meeting at about 2:15, and I work an overnight shift, so I have to be into the hospital at 6 p.m. this evening. And I went ahead and quickly emailed each and every single one of you, though I don't know you personally, and I asked you to please vote for choice. Vote in favor of choice. So I just want to speak a little bit on the efficacy. Yesterday I was driving home from Tennessee. There's a plight across this nation. There's a plight in our very small town here, and that plight has a lot to do with unemployment. There's multiple factors for that. We know, the pandemic being one of them, the lockdowns being one of them. Mercy Health has mandated vaccines. I'm an employee of Mercy Health, okay? I have had to go through incredible emotional, spiritual, physical duress and tumult because I have been mandated to have the vaccine. Okay, I have been mandated to choose between my economic well-being, my ability to support myself, and my values as a human being. Sure, I could choose to leave Mercy Health and my career behind and work at GNL. No problem. Eventually, I will. I will do such a thing because I will not be part of a system that will continually impinge on my freedom as a human being. I want to share.
Everybody gets 2 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Jason Hall on the phone. Please unmute. You have 2 minutes.
My name is Jason Hall. I've heard a lot of emotion here today. I'm also responding to Melinda Pago's, my commissioner's resolution. The simple thing comes down to is we are free citizens. This commissioner's board of this county are not masters to the free person. They may be masters to corporations under the charter, but we are free people to choose. To mandate that a medical procedure has to be done, not only is wrong, it's immoral. As elected officials, we ask you guys to simply follow the Constitution where we need it in
Jason, are you there? I think we've lost Jason. If he calls back in, I'll call him. Kippy Ellis.
Hello, Kippy Ellis here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I just recently learned about this resolution. I am 100% for the resolution. I did develop COVID. I got it really badly. My husband didn't at all. I was laid out for 10 days. I also learned it's a man-made disease or illness, a virus. I also know it's not an isolated virus. Therefore, there cannot be a vaccine. So this is a shot. I know that flu shots are optional. People can get them or not get them. I've never got one. I don't believe in them, like I don't believe in this shot. I did go get the test. I have a 4.3% positive antibodies in my body that are now in my T-zones that will live there for the rest of my life. I am protected from the coronavirus. Not saying that people don't die, but what makes me so crazy is the people that are pushing for the vaccinations, that are pushing for this, are the very same people that say a woman has a choice to kill a baby because it's her body. And that is bull crap, because this is my body. Nothing is going in my body unless I want it to be, nor would I kill a baby. I don't support any of it. I do support the resolution. God bless you. God bless you.
I'm going to close the public hearing. Everyone's had a chance to speak. We'll move on to the next item is communications. I have none. And so we'll move on to committee and board reports. The first one is courts and public safety. The chair of that is Commissioner Pega.
Okay. The Courts and Public Safety Committee met on September 7th, 2021. It was recommended and I move CPS 21/09-48 through CPS 21/09-52.
Second.
All right. Well,
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on any of?
normally we would do them all at once.
Yes, she
Is that what you just did? I was-
Yeah, she did.
oh, I'm
I
sorry.
did.
Okay.
I'll just ask if there's
I
any,
was-
we've already
I
discussed this in
I
committee,
was
but
reading and okay, thank you. I'm sorry, you supported it, Your Worship. Okay, is there any comments or corrections on it? Any concern? If not, roll call on that one, please, Linda.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hubby Wright,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hughes,
yes on 48, 50, 51, and 52, no on 49.
Commissioner Laring,
No on 48, no on 49, yes on 50, 51, and 52.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Pago,
No on 48, 50, 51, and 52, yes on 49.
sorry, what was 50?
No on 48 and 50. Yes on, I'm sorry, no on 48, 50, 51, and 52, yes on 49.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes on all.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes or no?
7 yes, 2 no on 48. 7 yes, 2 no on 49. 8 yes, 1 no on 50. 8 yes, 1 no on 51. 8 yes, 1 no on 52.
Okay. That completes the report from Courts and Public Safety. The next item is the Human Services Committee, chaired by Mrs. Hubby Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Human Services Committee met on September 7th, 2021, and it was recommended, and I move HS 21/09-22 through 24 inclusive.
Support.
Okay, so we've, motion has been made, it's been supported. Are there any comments, concerns on that? If not, Linda will do a roll call vote on that one too.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes on 22 and 23, no on 24.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes on 22 and 23, no on 24.
Commissioner Larry,
Yes on 22, yes on 23, no on 24.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Pagel,
Yes on 22, no on 23, no on 24.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes on all.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes on 22, yes on 23, and no on 24.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes on all.
9 yes, 22, 8 yes, 1 no, 23, 4 yes, 5 no on 24.
Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, next up is the chairman's report and are there anybody who'd like to report on any committees that they are liaisons for? If not, I'll move ahead. I just a reminder, the Michigan Irish Music Festival will host their Hackley Hoolie event at Hackley Park on September 18th this weekend from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And next up is the Board of Canvassers election. Does everyone have one of these? Does everybody got a ballot? Yes. Okay. I'm not sure what procedure do we just.
You choose your candidates in each column, sign your name, put them out front, and I'll pick them up. I will read the names. Chief Deputy Clerk Larson will mark the tally on the board here. It's facing the camera, and then we'll announce the people with the most votes.
Okay, so fill out your ballot, sign it, just put it up front.
Is
here.
an extra check okay, or will it not go through the machine? if it's
Only
filled out
one
correctly?
for,
She's kidding.
I am smiling.
I'll put an X on one and I'll fill in the box on the other. Let's see how that works.
I didn't get my absentee ballot, by the way.
Y'all are funny.
You need to sign, I'm sorry. These
Oh,
are not
okay.
secret ballots.
Oh.
They are not secret, they do need to be signed.
So are you?
There was no
count
instruction.
those right now?
Yes, we're going to announce the names and announce the people with the most votes. Everybody sign. Okay. Commissioner Hughes' vote was 1 for Carol Carter and 1 for Patricia J. Camp. Commissioner Laring, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp. Commissioner Wilkins, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp. Chair Skolnick, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp. Only one.
You have to vote for
1 in each category. And you didn't vote for a Democrat. So vote for 1.
I love you, Doug.
So you can't vote, but you can.
You guys are awesome.
Commissioner Brown's vote, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp. Vice Chair Nash, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp. Commissioner Pago, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Fred Michael Glancy. Commissioner Hovey Wright, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp. Commissioner Seer, 1 vote for Carol M. Carter, 1 vote for Patricia J. Camp.
So
Democratic Carol M. Carter has 8 votes. Republican Patricia J. Camp has 8 votes, and Republican Fred Glancy has 1 vote. Nine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Carol M. Carter has 9 Democrats.
okay, well, congratulations to the winners. I know that Pat Camp is here. I don't know. if
Carol's not.
Pat, do you want to say anything or?
I just thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Muskegon County. As a board canvasser last year, this is a reappointment, and last year was very involved year where we held audits, we held recounts, and I feel ready to serve a few more years. Thank you very much for your confidence in me.
I hope I'm half as what you are when I'm your age, Pat. You're awesome.
Okay, now there's no recounts on that, right?
How many days we got to file?
Okay, that's it on Chairman's report. Next, the administrator has his.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item is to authorize staff to issue a request for qualifications to a qualified civil engineer to perform a lake level study on Wolf Lake pursuant to Part 307 inland lake levels of the Natural Resource and Environmental Protection Act 1994, PA 451.
Support. Okay, we have a motion to perform the lake level study. Motion's been made, it's been supported. Is there any discussion on that? Marcia.
Just to point out that the $40,000 cost will be recouped once the lake level is established and assessments are made, as I understand it. Is that correct?
I wouldn't make that assumption. The idea, that's the idea, but at this point, I would not make that assumption.
It has to be done.
Right, it has to be done. Right.
Process for that.
Right. Anybody else? We probably should have a roll call.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Thank you.
I have one more item that's not on the agenda, but I'd just like to provide an update, and that's our research, or not our research, but our search for a financial director. It was out for 3 weeks. It was advertised on Indeed, Michigan Associated Counties, ICMA, MALL, which is National Leagues, and MLive. We only had a little bit of interest. There was like 5 to 2 were questionable and qualified. The other 3 qualified based on their experience. At this point, it'd be my recommendation that we actually hire a company to go out and re-advertise this and get more qualified candidates. As you all well know, this is one of the most important positions, not to take away from any other director position, but the finance obviously is critical for the county going forward. And so at this point, I would take questions on this, and then at the end, I would like to at least get a support or different direction at that matter for a different option.
Mrs. Pago.
How long have you had the posting?
Went up for 3 weeks.
It's been up for 3 weeks.
Commissioner Larry.
So when you say hire a company, you mean headhunter?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Go ahead. Anybody
So
else?
it'd still be an individual that we would hire.
Individual company.
No, I'm thinking my question was, are you hiring a professional hiring company? Or are you
Yes.
talking about a financial firm to be our bookkeeper? You're talking about a headhunter to find a person.
Correct.
A headhunt.
Yeah, normally, if you want to call them headhunters or, they're going to be specific to looking for those positions. And so they would have, they usually have defined what positions those are, whether it be engineering.
Susie,
Yeah, I had a question. Yeah, now that we think about it, would it be an option to hire an auditing firm or a financial firm that does that? Are there people that do that for companies?
There are, there was part of CMH, which is Network 180, has a firm who does their finances. So
I'll go the other way. Thanks.
Okay, is there?
I actually have another question. So with headhunters, sometimes the employee pays a percentage of their salary to the headhunter, or would the county be negotiating the cost of how would we determine how that employee, is that something that the employee, future employee would pay, or the county would pay the headhunter fees?
we reached out to one company just to have a ballpark figure, and their low end where they just send out a base package is around $5,000. And then the high end where they do the interviews and do recommendations and actually have a 12-month guarantee is roughly $22,500. So with our purchasing policy, anything under $25,000, we can go out and get a minimum of 3 quotes from 3 different organizations and move forward at that point.
The candidate is not paying.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Can I continue with my question? So in our marketing, searching for an employee, did we pay or advertise any relocation costs, or was it looking specifically for somebody within a community zone? I mean, did we market Indeed nationwide, or were we?
Yeah, Indeed, ICMA are both national. MAC and MML are.
So were we willing to pay the moving fees for these people, or was that part of the?
It depends. I mean, in past practices we have not on all positions. I know there's some that we've flown out over here for an interview. But
this ad, you flew some people?
No, in the past, other position, director level positions.
So all the people that did respond were somewhat local. West Michigan.
Yes.
All right, anybody else? Yes, Marcia.
Yeah, the salary that we're offering, I assume, was a range. Did we check to make sure that it was competitive with other areas?
You know, that's a good question. It's difficult to say it's comparative. I mean, it's definitely comparative to the local area of West Michigan. But this company, whoever we hire, might suggest that we increase that range. I don't know.
I was surprised how few applications we did get, and we used a similar process, I think, when Mark was on.
Not myself, but other directors. This is the process that we went through currently is a process that we've gone through with past directors. The administration level, we've always had, at least the last 3, at least, have hired a firm to find somebody.
It's such an important job. We really need the best person we can get. Yes.
No, I just agree with the fact that we need to do a better search, and I think a company would do that much better for us. We're talking about the finances of the county, and as much as I believe in Mark, I do also know that he needs as much assistance as he can get with the right person, so that we can move forward and secure the financial future of this county.
I agree with that, Chip.
No, thank you. All right.
Do you need a
What
motion?
do you want to do? Well,
I'll make a motion that we move forward with a company to search for a finance.
we have a motion. It's been supported. Linda?
Yeah, are we gonna put a cap of a fee?
Well, he'll come back.
He'll come back and give us.
Oh,
He'll
okay.
come back. He's now going to go out for proposals.
Yeah, I'll follow the
and then those
purchasing
will come-
policy.
Okay,
Those will come back to us.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, Linda, did you do roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Pass.
Vice Chair Nash?
Yes.
Commissioner Pego?
No.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Seer?
Yes.
Commissioner Heavy Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Laring?
Yes.
Chair Skolnick?
Yes,
8 yes, 1 no.
Thank you. That completes my report.
okay, thank you. All right, then let's move on to unfinished business. The first item is to authorize the acceptance of a mediation award.
I'll make a motion to accept,
Well,
do we have to put that on the floor to discuss it?
well, he's gonna,
We
I don't
discuss
want
it
to put it
first.
on the first, second. and then
Oh, where's the detail? I'll make a motion to authorize the acceptance of a mediation award.
okay,
Now we can discuss it.
all right. Steve Grimm is the attorney involved in this.
Yes, I am. You ready for me?
Ready for you?
Okay, so we, in the litigation that we discussed last time I was here, I think by Zoom.
Oh, I haven't met you in person. Hello, how are you?
Terrific, how are you?
I know you look familiar at the door. I'm like, I don't know them.
Yeah, I was enjoying that. Yeah, no, I am in person. Yeah, it's nice to be here. So we, as I was instructed by, if I recall, a very close vote of the commission, I was giving marching orders regarding parameters of settlement, and we went to mediation, and it did not settle at mediation. However, the mediator gave a number that is at the top or at the bottom of the numbers you gave me last time. It's the full amount of the available insurance with no discount whatsoever. We have to accept or reject that number, as does the defense. And I believe that we have, hang on, I think that we haven't, I want to get this done, but yeah, we have until October 1. The thing here is that we wanted to come back, I believe Chairman Skolnick and Sudi Hughes, who was with us with Eisenberg, just to let you know that there was a mediation award and that it did not technically settle. Accepting this award will do two things. One is it will either settle it, depending on what the defense does, or what it'll do is set up the county perfectly for a bad faith claim for the insurance money from the defendant. Because if, and I don't know this for a fact to be the case, but my understanding is from reading the mediator and other tea leaves at the hearing, that the defendants want it done. This is just the insurance company doing their thing that they have to do to get the authority to do it. If they turn out to reject it and we have accepted it and we get an award above the insurance amount available, then we don't have to worry about chasing defendants. We chase the insurance company for bad faith, because that will come out of their pocket. Because I remember a concern was chasing defendants for many, many years if we got an award over the available insurance. With a couple of exceptions that will take care of that. Just simply conveying the acceptance will take care of that issue. We would then have to go to trial and get more than the available insurance, but that's only in the event that they do not accept it. So frankly, there is absolutely no reason not to accept this.
Okay, are you ready for questions?
I'm ready for anything you want.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Steve or for us in general?
What is the mediation?
Don't we
amount?
usually
Hmm?
talk about this in closed session?
Wait,
Well,
wait a minute, I've lost control. Commissioner Laring had the floor.
I'm at, what is the mediation amount that was offered?
Well, yes, if it's, we were talking to Homer, who's the municipal lawyer, said we could do this in open session. So if everybody's okay with that, I can tell you it was the full amount of the policy limits, which we discussed before, which was $1 million.
So if we accept the mediation amount, you say there's the opportunity to still go after Doug Hughes personally. Is that, if I
Well-
understood correctly?
If they reject it,
If they reject them,
if they reject it, then we would go into litigation. If they accept it, then it is over for that amount.
so can I continue?
Yes. keep
So the
going.
mediation amount, you said it was at the low range, but that's the max range.
Well, the minimum you gave me was policy limits. And that's what I was able to get them to do. Chairman will tell you that we had to pull some teeth to get them, and so will Mark, but Susie, they were not, this was a relatively long meeting, wasn't it, going back and forth? And they were not willing to come up to that number until they still aren't there yet, but that I think is because they have to get upper level approval to get it done. The person who showed up with authority didn't have it.
So can I continue?
Yes,
So
yes.
my problem with this is you were hired on a percentage, and I believe that was 1/3.
Right.
So if we accept the mediation amount, we're gonna come out with 650,000-ish.
667, 667, yes.
I don't like all those sixes like that.
The only math I
Anyways,
know is dividing by 3, so.
So my, and if we don't accept it, then we can go back to the original about going after Doug Hughes personally.
Yeah, there's an issue with that, though. The issue with that is that the board already voted that if we get and that this is up to you folks, I'm not the municipal guy here. The issue is there was a vote to accept that if I was able to get it. And I worked very hard to get more, but they were not going to do it, which we talked about before, that it was very unlikely that to settle it, they would offer more because that would come out of their insurance pocket. But my point on this is that if we do reject this, then if we do go forward, if they accept it and we reject it, we will go forward and it will be expensive. And you will have to then go through what we talked about before, which would be chasing down individuals. By accepting this, and if they reject it, you don't have to, very likely, you don't have to do that. We would just go after the insurance company because I have fairly successfully set them up for bad faith so far.
Thank you.
Melinda?
So, two things. So the maximum we will be able to retrieve with what you're proposing, which is what we already knew before that I voted no to, is a maximum of $667,000.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever.
Not, well, yeah, yes. that's
Whatever,
enough,
I don't
yes.
know, I don't think there's very many costs.
So
at
it'll
all.
be under $1 million and we owe the taxpayers $5.5 million. So I'm going to propose the motion that I proposed last time that we further go into litigation for this.
There's a motion on the floor right now.
Oh, okay. Then let's table that motion. I make a motion to table that motion.
Second.
All right, there's, Mr. Chair.
Non-debatable.
Motion.
Non-debatable.
It is not debatable.
Thank you.
It's not debatable.
To table.
It's my understanding that a table has to come up again at the end of the meeting, not be postponed.
We have to vote on that first.
No, the motion to table, you made a motion to table.
Yep. I can't do the other one until we table this.
Okay,
So
the motion to table is not debatable, so I guess we'll have to vote on that.
And a majority, not a 2/3 on a motion. to table.
Linda, roll call, please.
Commissioner Larry,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
No.
Commissioner Pago,
yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer.
Yes.
Commissioner Heavy Wright,
No.
Commissioner Hughes,
No.
Chair Skolnick,
No.
4 yes, 5 no.
I will remake my motion to accept.
Okay, we have.
Your motion's still on the
Oh, my
table.
motion's still on.
Okay, Linda will do a roll call on the original motion.
Can you
Vice Chair,
repeat the motion, please?
I believe it's a motion to accept the mediation award.
Yes.
Correct. Are we closed with questions, Chair?
Yes.
Can I have a question?
Yes.
So if we go into litigation, your fee obviously doesn't stay the same, right?
Still a third.
It depends on what we get. My fee could be zero, because no litigation is a guarantee.
If we get zero in litigation,
I get zero.
you get zero.
Use a percentage.
There's a percentage of whatever you would.
Yes.
So there is an incentive or skin in the game to get something out of it, right? So.
Yeah, I never think that way, though. That would be unethical. I have to think of your interest.
I mean.
Because the flip side of that is that if we got $5 million, that's the flip side. But I don't think of my own, I don't think of my own skin in any game.
Okay.
This is your skin.
I
It's your
understand.
game.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Our interest is the taxpayers' money, which is out $5.5 million.
Okay, anybody, I would just like to make a comment. Having owned businesses all my life, it's one thing to get a judgment. It's a whole other thing to collect it. And if I was an attorney, I would have, in this, and I don't know Mr. Hughes or what he's done, but I surely would protect my assets, and they would be long protected before today. So that's my comment. Anybody else?
So you recommend we accept?
Absolutely.
And I'll stand on, we represent the taxpayers and we need to fight for them and their money, regardless of what we think Mr. Hughes is hiding his.
Okay.
I do have one comment.
Yes, Susan.
You know, having been through the trial where they made the decision, we had sued us for 16 million, we ended up paying about 5. I think we would lose this if we went forward and sued, and it would cost a lot more. And this way, at least we get something out of it. That's my opinion, that this is definitely in the best interest of the taxpayers and Muskegon County.
And if I may just reiterate, I get the views, but if we reject the number, there's no guarantee that the insurance company will pay it. There's no guarantee on that at all. If we do say no, if we say yes, doesn't mean it's settled by any means. But if they reject it, we now don't have to worry about chasing Mr. Hughes. We will have set up the insurance company for bad faith. And that was one of the main goals of this. But the only way to get to the insurance company money above the $1 million is to accept this. Otherwise, you will guarantee probably 2.5 or more years of very costly litigation, which is fine, and absolutely no guarantee of even getting to the $1 million.
All right, so I gotta correct you. The
Mhm.
costly litigation doesn't cost the taxpayers in Muskegon County anything. Because you're being paid on a percentage. whether
I'm not
you-
talking about my fee, I'm talking about costs. There's going to be depositions, there's going to be filing fees, there's going to be expert witnesses. There's going to be a lot of expert witnesses. There's going to be legal expert witnesses. There's going to be Plant Moran expert witnesses to do forensic analyses of this. Doug Van Essen, who has signed on to be our expert witness, who I have, I think, so far persuaded he has helped us with this and I don't think he's going to charge anything for it so far. But the more time he puts into it, it will be extremely expensive. So to correct you, with all due respect, Commissioner, there will be a lot of cost. There's going to be a lot of cash going out, not to me, I work for free, but to experts and putting exhibits together, depositions, motions, all of that is going to be extremely expensive for the taxpayers with no guarantee of return.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to ask, what is your recommendation that we do at this point after we've had this discussion?
My recommendation is the same recommendation it was before, which is if we could get the $1 million, I get it's 20% of what the losses were, that it's the same recommendation that it was before last time we voted on this, to take it if we can get it. And that was shared by Mr. Duzma from Foster Swift. And that's the recommendation. It's just, I get that you want to make the taxpayers whole. I am a township supervisor myself. I get it. You have to look after taxpayer dollars. But at some point, you need to, seems like to me, since you asked, seems like to me what you want to do is look at what is available now, potentially, without very significant outlays of cash for expert witnesses and litigation costs. Like I said, I work for free. And this matter would be done if they paid $1 million, and that would be that.
Anybody else? If not, I'm going to roll call, please.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Pago,
No.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
No.
Commissioner Seer,
No.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes.
5 yes, 4 no.
Okay. Moving on, the next item is to authorize the chairman, myself, to execute the closing documents regarding mediation.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion on that? Seeing no discussion, Linda, could you roll call on that one, too, please?
Commissioner Pago,
No.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Pass.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
No.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Wait a minute, did I, what was my vote?
you voted no.
I mean, yes, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Chair Skolnick,
Yes.
7 yes, 2 no.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Linda. All right, the next item is WM 21/09-94, approve the authorization of the agreement regarding the establishment of lake level for Wolf Lake pursuant to Part 307 of the Natural Resources and Environmental Protection Act and the vacation of the Wolf Lake Drain and Wolf Lake SAD Special Assessment District pursuant to the Drain Code until September 14th, 2021, in which both the Water Resource Commissioner's attorney and Muskegon County Corporate Counsel will have reviewed the document.
So moved.
Second.
May I?
Yes, you may.
Hi, thank you. At this time, corporate counsel cannot recommend that the county board approve this agreement for a couple of reasons. One, based on communication from the Water Resources Commissioner, frankly, there is no agreement at this point in that the version we got back, the comments with it said it needs to be totally reworked to address certain points that were raised. And some of those are not acceptable from our perspective to the extent they would declare that the drain was inappropriately established in the first place, that there is not agreement on how certain costs would be paid, and just ultimately not a meeting of the minds at this time between the Water Resource Commissioner and the board. So there, from our perspective, there is not an agreement to be approved because the version that is attached here was accompanied by a memo that says it needs to be totally reworked from the Water Resource Commissioner. So earlier in this meeting, this board approved the process of issuing requests for proposals for the lake level study. We can do that without this agreement and frankly without the Water Resources Commissioner's involvement, which I think the board is probably already aware of that. So at this time, it's our recommendation that the county move forward with the lake level study and not with this agreement.
I'll withdraw my support.
Okay, so you withdraw your.
So we don't have a motion now, and
I'm sorry, Mr. Laird.
we don't have a motion, but who made the motion?
I think I seconded it and I withdraw mine as well.
Okay, I'd offer my second then to it.
Well, there's no.
Right.
So the motion's still live.
I thought somebody was.
I think the motion and second were just withdrawn. So if you make a motion, are you then seeking a
No, I'm
second?
seconding Philistine's motion.
Oh, I'm
They
so
withdraw.
sorry, Commissioner Wilkins. I didn't realize you made the motion.
That's realistic. You're leaving it stand. Is that?
Yes.
Okay, I stand corrected.
So my comment to this is, do we have, you're recommending because the drain commissioner won't agree to this agreement, do we have the ability to litigate with the drain commissioner to force her into a decision or have the court force her hand on this?
I think it might be premature to get to that. When
Well, wait, we've been at this now for 2.5 years with her, this Wolf Lake issue. I don't believe we're gonna come to a decision that's mutually amicable.
But I'm not sure you necessarily need to if you do the lake level study and get a circuit court determination on a legal lake level.
Right. That's what our court counsel, so that's what that's mean. We don't really need that agreement.
So now we're gonna have to hash out the names here. So she's got a new determination out there to change the drain district. The old drain district, she doesn't agree that it was created legally. We heard from Mike, he thought it was. It's a binding agreement, so we're gonna do the lakes level, potentially assess what's currently a drain district that she's in the process of changing. So as time goes on, this thing gets muddier and muddier and muddier. I believe we need to pursue some way to force. So if we do the lake level study, by the time this thing gets adjudicated, there could be a whole different drain district. sitting there.
I'm not sure that the drain district is being changed, or that there's any procedure happening right now to change the drain or the district.
Excuse me, I'm gonna use my prerogative here as the board chair to let the Drain Water Resources Commissioner speak.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Brenda Moore, Water Resources Commissioner. For 3 years, I've been saying, please vote to establish a lake level, or get a study to establish a lake level. That is what's in my way, your way. There is a process. I had a day of review last Wednesday, and I spoke with my attorney. I've been trying not to accrue debt on Wolf Lake because I don't have the authority to assess. And basically, her advice was relinquish the drain to the county. And she agreed that it was inappropriately formed under the drain code when it should be in lakes and streams. I've been saying the same thing for 3 years. I was really happy to see the resolution and the decision to go for a lake level study. That's what gets us off a dead center. I didn't have the authority to do that. I'm not trying to be difficult. It gets us off dead center. What I did, for your information, on the data review is I'm trying to get us closer to managing the pump, in that the original drain district, I forget the two roads, but there's two major roads going east of Wolf Lake. And when the district originally was created, it was out 2 miles, and people 2 miles away were paying for a pump. Now, it's one thing if it's a drain and we're all contributing water, but it's a pump. So I've twice reduced the size. This last time, my attempt is to reduce the size of the district to be analogous with a lake level district, only riparian waterfront property owners or people with deeded access. Once that is done, and there is some question as to whether I should do that, because I'm trying to argue it shouldn't be on the drain code, but I don't think I'll be sued. I'm taking some relative risk to get us to the place where this is lake level riparian owners. There's already apportionments, there's already research that my office has done on who has ownership interest on the lake. And so my attempt there was to be able to hand it to the board or to Public Works and say, you've already got the framework for the right district and the right assessment. Have at it, take it over, or have me do it. You can delegate, but you can't force me to do something I don't have the authority to do or the ability to raise money for. So I understand your frustration, Commissioner Laring, but you can't get blood from a turnip. So let's just get on with this. Your vote to do the lake level study is awesome. We're on our way. And I want to cooperate. So we're on our way.
Marcia.
Yeah, Brenda, if we vote yes on this, how will that affect what you're trying to do?
Well, I don't know, and I guess I would turn to you. What my counsel said is you can't abandon without a petition from the township or the citizens, and they're at a gridlock too, so they don't want to do that. I could relinquish the drain, the control of the drain, now that has been reduced to a lake level district. In theory, I could relinquish that to the county. So you can do your lake board study, then it's all clear for you to be able to assess. Once things get cleaned up, if you want to redelegate it to our office, we could take it. But one of my observations is I learned more about what I don't know about pumps and what I do. And Matt was really helpful. And the Public Works Department has more background and more staff to deal with pumps. I deal with natural resource management and drains. That's where I feel like my strength is. But Matt, if somebody was there to help us out and you still wanted to delegate when we're all legal, you know, I'll be cooperative as long as I'm here.
How would you like us to vote on this?
I think it's moot now that you voted for, to establish the lake level, get the lake level study. I appreciate you asking, but I think it's moot now.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you very much for letting me speak.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so Commissioner Waring made a motion to 94.
Well, I seconded Commissioner Relisky's motion.
Okay, so you're recommending against it.
Well, I don't, and I think the commissioner agrees, there is really nothing to approve at this point. There isn't an agreement. We can't, if you vote to approve an agreement, there's no meeting of the minds here on the terms of it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, you're right.
Can she just withdraw her agreement?
There's no
There is
agreement
no
to
agreement.
withdraw. There's no, just withdraw.
Withdraw the motion and second.
Will you do that, Commissioner Waring?
I'm gonna let my second stand at nothing. I'm not gonna remake the motion.
Okay, so Wilson, you're withdrawing the motion.
Yes.
Okay. So that just fails for lack of motion.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I think this goes right along with what our corporate counsel was saying in the last meeting. And I agree with the drain commissioners that we have to get this done first. And until that's done, we really don't have anything to agree on. That's what's kind of holding this whole thing up. Once that is established, then we can move back and work on whatever agreements we need to work on to get this thing
So
settled.
we just authorized the most important part of this. So, okay, Wilson, thank you. Okay, so 94, it just fails for lack of motion. Then we'll move on to CPS 21/09-53 to approve the resolution to promote general welfare in Muskegon County, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to Governor Whitmer, Senator John Bumstead, Representative Terry Sabo, Representative Brandon Workham, the Michigan Senate, the Michigan House of Representatives, Michigan Association of Counties, and to the clerk of each county in the state of Michigan.
So moved.
We have a motion that's been supported. So
Please note that it was revised and edited. I sent it to Kathy, but I didn't realize she was off this week, so it just was
We didn't get it till an hour
distributed,
before.
so you can read it right now.
I read it.
I know, Mark, I had a discussion about that, because normally you couldn't like revise something like that, but it's a resolution, not a motion. So we can let that
It
stand.
was tabled last week so that I could revise it and bring it back today, so that's what I did.
Actually, I thought it was revised last week so you could get it on the agenda for today. And the agenda came out on Friday, and I don't appreciate, getting something 2 hours before it when I read it all on Friday. I figure I'm all set, and then.
That was the same one that was presented last week.
Okay.
No,
There was some changes in it. You made the changes.
Oh, I didn't submit anything again, so
Okay.
she must have made those changes based on the meeting.
I'd just like to see, get everything out. First of all, it makes Kristen and Kathy look bad too, like they didn't do their job when you come in at the very end, 2 hours before, and send us a resolution. So I'd just like us all to be more conscientious about getting resolutions and.
Had that been a motion, that couldn't have happened.
Right.
It was a resolution, so I don't think we need to fight about it. Marcia.
I'm just explaining.
Okay. Yes, Marcia.
Yes, I'd like to speak against the so-called resolution to promote the general welfare. We all want to safely go to concerts, attend funerals, weddings, go to restaurants, fly, and fully return to normal work and school. Unfortunately, this pesky coronavirus 19, and especially the Delta variant, is still putting mostly unvaccinated people in our hospitals and filling up our ICUs. And this includes young children and young adults. The overwhelming majority of nationally recognized scientists and medical experts agree that masks and vaccines are the way to conquer the virus. Polls show that the majority of Americans are in favor of stronger measures to require mass testing and vaccines. Leaving it up to personal choice has not worked, thanks to efforts like this resolution. I think we are united in wanting to get COVID-19 behind us. It is frustrating that we are facing the fourth surge in some parts of the country, mostly places where vaccination rates are low. Muskegon has been fortunate not to experience this yet, but I suspect we may. I don't understand why there are people who seem to deny this reality and believe crazy things about the so-called risks of wearing masks and getting vaccinated. The risks of COVID are so much worse. Are your rights more important than someone's life, your family member's life? This resolution absolutely does not promote the general welfare when it bans the country from doing what works to protect our community from COVID-19, even for those staff providing tests and vaccinations and medical treatment under the county. Some services are paid for by Medicaid and Medicare, some services provided by the county. So we have no choice to comply since the president's announcement last week. Muskegon County cannot ignore federal mandates. We do not have that authority. There's been an online petition that has over 100 signatures, and I'd like to read a few of the comments. The hyper-conservative elements of our commission have demonstrated a truly staggering lack of basic empathy for our fellow human beings, especially in regards to measures intended to combat the vaccine. From Susan Mack, more than 650,000 people have died from COVID-19, and I want our elected officials to be wise and use common sense when making decisions about protecting others from becoming sick and dying. This is not a political issue. From Jamie Way, I care about my community and wearing a mask is the easiest and best way to stop the spread of COVID. Just wear a mask. From Cheryl Botwell, science is real and our community should be protected against diseases that we can be protected from. From Patricia Bennett, science has proven that mass social distancing and vaccines are all part of reducing the spread of COVID. Why wouldn't you work towards a safer community? From Melissa Lyman, I believe in science. From Janet Perot, my father died from COVID. Let's have a few graves. From Marvin Freeman, when did children not spread disease in school? From Robin Brand, I'm signing because I believe in the science behind mask and vaccine safety for our citizens, and especially our children. From Ellen Beal, resolutions have no teeth but keep Muskegon County in the media and not in a good way, and are nothing more than organizing and fundraising ploy of the far right. Instead, Muskegon County needs to follow the examples of Ottawa and Kent County and require mask mandates for all school districts. I also have, there are, between outside and the people in this room, there are 20 people opposing this resolution, in addition to the 100 on the online petition. Let us be so kind as to respect one another and protect one another, and please do the right thing, save our community. From Jamie Way, as a mother, grandmother, and concerned senior citizen, I feel this resolution should be defeated. So again, I urge all of us to vote no on this very divisive and irresponsible resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Heavywright.
Mr. Chair, I have just as many as she has, if you'd like me to repeat. So, I guess the biggest thing, I've got constituents and we represent all people. And I have a neighbor that has a medical condition. And I think that the only thing that I could say is in Muskegon County, the vaccine shall encourage citizens to discuss the risks and benefits with treatment with their chosen healthcare provider and let them make those choices. Okay. And I'm done. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm really embarrassed with this board because we had a sensible resolution to help support the recovery for the citizens in our community, and we vote that down. And we're sitting here wasting time, spending time on a resolution that's divisive, is poorly written, is contradictory to itself, and we're supporting this like it's life and death, when actually the mandates that are coming down, we took an oath, we don't have authority to go against that. Everyone in this community still has a choice. You don't have to do it, but there are repercussions. You might have to decide to leave your job. You might have to do something else. But all of this is to help promote the health of this community and this country. People say they're tired of COVID. Well, let's do something about it. But sitting around without a mask, we got kids who cannot get a vaccine. We have kids who cannot get a vaccine. And we're sitting here debating whether they should wear a mask or not. We're not talking about strangling them with a mask. We're talking about protecting them with a mask. And if you don't want to do that, then homeschool. That's fine. You got a choice. We're not taking your choice away. But you have to be sensible about this. But I'm embarrassed how we spend all this time on this. And we have a sensible resolution about Recovery Month for people who are battling addiction. And let me see, the Recovery Month that comes from the SAPSA says this is National Recovery Month. The theme is recovery is everyone, every person, every family, every community. But we don't want this. But we want to fight over masks. Let that make sense. I do decide to vote no on this. It's ridiculous.
Thank you, Mr. Nash. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
so as an elected official, I get paid to have an opinion, and I'm more than willing to share my opinions. I don't have a written statement. I don't have a count of constituents. And from my opinion, masks are considered a PPE. That stands for personal protective equipment. That means that it's to protect the individual wearing it, not to protect others around us. They're designed to breathe through. Many of them have exit valves with free airflow to the outside. If you choose to wear a mask, that's fine. It's PPE. It protects you, not somebody else. The idea that we're going to force students to go to public school to wear a mask is ridiculous. We're all taxpayers. It's a right of the children to go to school freely. And if their medical professional or their personal decision to not wear a mask and cover up their face, that's their personal decision. If others, nobody's arguing about students that want to wear a mask. If they want to wear a mask to protect them, they're readily available. Those students can put them on their faces, or their parents can tell them to wear it. The second problem with this is children are low risk. To say the hospitals are full of children is ridiculous. There's almost no deaths of children in Muskegon County. In fact, it might be zero. They're at the lowest risk level of anybody in the state or the nation, let alone the county. My second part is more theoretical. This nation has placed conservatively $30 trillion on the back of our grandchildren to pay off. Our children and grandchildren have to pay our debt. If you add in all of the pensions that these kids have to pay back for us, and now we're going to saddle our children who are not at risk, force them into school to wear a mask. We're not protecting kids. This is a self-centered, selfish thing to protect us. We don't want our children coming home with COVID. And we want to force everybody to pay this debt of COVID on the children. This is ridiculous. Let's just saddle our kids with a giant cement block and let's just have them tow that around for the rest of their lives. Let's make them wear a mask. Let's make them pay their debt. Let's make them the COVID shot. You said children can't get it. This has been an experimental drug for over a year, and adults were taking an experiment. It wasn't authorized. The children can take it. They don't have to take it. It's not been medically approved. It's only been medically approved for adults to take, for crying out loud, for 2 months. The FDA has changed. I mean, look at who in this room hasn't taken red dye number 5 or yellow dye number 4 in their life, which was all approved. We've all drank it. And the FDA has reversed, oh no, that causes cancer. So now all of a sudden this is approved for adults 16 to
70, oh, our poor kids, they can't take the shot. Well, it's not approved for adults other than maybe 2 months ago. And so now we're going to mask up all of our kids because the FDA couldn't temporarily approve it for children 12 and under. So let's stick them in a mask to protect us. This is a burden on our children that we as adults have no business placing on the parents of these kids going to school. If you want your kid to go to school with a mask, there is nobody protesting about somebody that wants to wear a mask. I could care less if you want to walk around in fear, but don't put our children in fear. That's all I have.
Chair,
Yes.
just briefly. A couple of, there was a comment made about the common defense in the Constitution referencing mask mandates. That's totally out of context. The common defense refers to defending the country against enemies, foreign and domestic, which are people, by the way. There's been also a call for the government possibly to take our children, go into our houses, take our children if we don't submit our children to mandates in the interest of public health. We only need to look to Australia right now to see where that thing leads. Very dangerous. There was also a constituent who sent me an email and was complaining about the shortage of nurses. And because of the heavy load in the hospitals, the nurses are leaving, are retiring, and I believe that that's not really the case. I think the case is more to what was pointed out here, that they don't want to take the shot. So I think that's probably the real reason if there's a shortage of nurses out there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Steering. What else?
Yeah, I'm gonna read the revised version so the public can hear, and just so everybody knows.
Saw it.
that
We see.
I have a right to speak and I'm gonna speak.
We would like to hear it. Yeah, I would like.
Just so you all know, I told you this last week, there's county employees that have come to me that have heard the county may do this. Okay, this was the basis of it, as well as constituents asking to make a stance upon what's going on in these schools. Okay, our public health director did the right thing and left it to each school to make those decisions. And the schools are going over the parental authority, trying to make decisions for their children that they don't have the right to make. As my job, I'm an intercessor for them to uphold the Constitution, which, by the way, it's Constitution Week this week. Constitution Day, September 17th. I suggest everybody get a copy and read it because we swore an oath to that. I didn't swear an oath to you or to anyone else. Swear an oath to the Constitution. It's for as long as I'm here, I will always uphold it. I'm going to read this resolution that constituents help write because they value their freedom. They want to make sure it's protected. Muskegon County Resolution to Promote General Welfare. At a regular meeting of the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners, Muskegon County, Michigan, held on 14th day of September 2021 at 3 p.m. local time, the following resolution was adopted, and it is so far not adopted. This is the language that is put into all resolutions that are presented. Whereas, this is the edited version also. Whereas the citizens of Muskegon County being both informed about the risks and benefits of available medical treatment such as vaccines, as well as maintaining the sacred and inalienable right to make autonomous choices about their own health are essential to securing both the general welfare and securing the blessings of liberty as they are provided by the Constitution of the United States of America. And whereas we, the Board of Commissioners for Muskegon County, believe that the medical decisions of citizens are best made in consult with their healthcare professional who is knowledgeable of the citizen's health history. Therefore, let it be resolved, Muskegon County messaging henceforth related to vaccines shall encourage citizens to discuss the risks and benefits of any such treatment with their chosen healthcare provider. And be it further resolved, Muskegon County shall not question any citizen's claim or parent's claim on behalf of their children to exemption from wearing a face mask or any other similarly mandated activity. And be it further resolved, Muskegon County shall not require of or mandate to any employee, prospective employee, or contractor of any form of vaccine or similar medical treatment verification of COVID-19 test verification as a general condition of employment, and will not encourage employers located within Muskegon County to establish such mandates that so hinder medical autonomy. And be it further resolved, the Muskegon County Board of Commissioners does hereby encourage the citizens of Muskegon County to continue to increase their awareness of available preventative measures and therapies by discussing the risks and benefits of available preventative measures and therapies with their chosen healthcare provider. And that be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be sent to Governor Whitmer, Senator John Bumstead, Representative Terry Sabo, Representative Greg Van Workum, the Michigan Senate, the Michigan House of Representatives, Michigan Association of Counties, and to the clerk of each county in the state of Michigan.
Thank you.
We done? Is that it?
I read it, yes. This is flu and virus season. If flu is still such a thing, the last 18 months, I don't think we've seen any reports on flu, but I do recommend, I'm not a doctor, but common sense, even though most of you have thrown that out the window, load up on your vitamin C, your elderberry, your zinc, and your D3, because flu and virus season normally runs through October through March.
Okay,
I just get a flu shot.
anybody else? Roll call vote. The vote is on the resolution that Mrs. Peggle just read. A yes vote adopts it, and no vote.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Seer,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
No.
Commissioner Hughes,
No.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
No.
Commissioner Pago,
Yes.
Chairman Skolnick,
No.
No, it's already done, Marcia.
Well,
5
I'm
yes,
sorry, I
4
think
no.
Somebody made a mistake.
No, they don't make mistakes.
It passed.
Okay, new business. Is there any new business?
Just like to make a comment. There was, I don't know if it was from the Memorial Park from Mike Brow. Did everybody get that from some of the things that have happened at the Veterans Park and some of the proposals? So,
Yes, and Mike will go over that at the work session that's scheduled after this meeting.
yeah, thank you, Michael, for putting this together. Appreciate it. Good information. I hope everybody has the time to read this, and thank you for doing that. So thank you.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time there, so thank you.
Next is public comment. I have 2 requests for public comment. One is from, first one would be Alan Jagger. Mr. Jagger, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you.
I appreciate it if you would respect that.
We'll see how it goes.
I'll finish whatever you can.
You started. I want to thank Mark. Every time we have something go on in Holton Township, I can call him. He gets a hold of all you or whatever, and you bring it to this board. So all of us are informed. And we have the right as citizens to vote you guys out of office if you're not doing it. At the road commission, we do not have that. We have no one to vote out, and we don't even have anybody to talk to. That ATV ordinance was brought to them, and they never, ever even brought it up in a single board meeting. Nothing was ever said about it. So I went through every single minute. Only once was there ever an ATV ordinance mentioned. Zach mentioned it at the board meeting, and it was about a countywide board meeting. Okay. Other than that, why isn't them board members out there know what's going on? They're supposed to be representing my township, and they're not. You're putting bad members on that board. Now, we can't replace, can we do that? But we can replace that board with people that either are elected so we can get them out of there, or we can get people that do represent us. But with a board that doesn't know, how can it be? The only other way is if they talked about it amongst themselves, which is against the rules. You can't talk with a majority of you. So they have to bring it to the board meeting to discuss this. So how is he going to court against Holton Township when they're without talking to his board? I mean, I don't take anybody in Holton Township to court, first off, but I wouldn't take anybody to court without the board understanding what our thing is. And I know you guys are trying to do the best. You brought their suit with Hughes right into this meeting to make sure that the people knew what was going on. In the road commission, we don't have it. Nothing. We can't get a road fixed, and they're going after us. Thank you. I'll yield before I even get done.
Thank you, Mr. Jagger. Next is, Lee, is it Leon Slater?
Yes. Leon Slater, I live in Holton Township, have my whole life. And I'm also going to talk about some of the roads, and what happens out there. We had a meeting 3 years ago, Holton Township, with the supervisor, some Amish guys, and the treasurer. That we met with Hulkus, looked at what he wanted done, walked out of that meeting. I said, let's go for a ride and I'll show you some of these roads. So he got in the pickup. No, I had to take his pickup because he didn't want to take mine. We went and looked at a couple of roads. We got to Brunswick Road. He goes, that's way too rough. I'm not turning around. I'm not going through there. Showed him another road on Brickyard Road in Brunswick. Looked at that. Oh, that's way too rough. I'm not going. I said, we've been filling those holes in with sand. He said, well, you contaminate the road when you put sand in, which I know that you do. But has he ever done anything with it? No. Watch the Fremont school bus go down it and watch the Holton school bus go down. Well, Mr. Bosman's going to go out and take a look at that part next week, Wednesday. And he'll probably let you know back. Okay, so Brunswick Road got ground up. And the cost share thing, if it's a blacktop road, Muskegon County cost share 50%. If it's a gravel road, now they only cost share 25%. So the more he grinds up, the less he's got to pay. There's only 2 bad spots in that road. Channel 13 was out there right on there talking to me and talking to my cousin who interviewed. And he told them right on Channel 13, there's only 2 bad spots. I don't know why they ground the whole thing up. So they ground it up. Then it went down this hill and it washed out. Then Mr. Hulka told me it cost him $30,000 to fix that Brunswick Road out of the county's money. And I didn't say anything in the meeting, sitting in his office. I said, well, why'd you grind it up? And there's one other thing that went on the meeting, and how much time I got? No time. All right. Guess I'll end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Slater. I have Michelle Bitson on the phone. Michelle, you can unmute. You have the microphone. Are you there? She's on.
Yeah, she's on her computer.
She's on the. She's on Zoom. Michelle, or whoever Quill.
She's got to be unmuted. Michelle, unmute. There you go.
Hi, sorry about that. I just wanted to thank the commission for passing the resolution. There was a lot of conversation today about how it's non-binding and it doesn't really matter and it's not the commission's role. I just want to say that it does matter to me. It's very important to me. And in a time where we are living with a lot of state and federal overreach into our lives, we look to you, our closest elected officials, to protect us. And I just want to say to the people who say it doesn't matter, it matters to me. So I want to thank the commissioners that voted for the resolution. And I hope to see you at the Irish Festival this weekend. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Maskless.
That is.
That makes sense.
Is there one more?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, okay. And go ahead.
Andrew and Muskegon. Yes, I'm glad that you passed this, but I'm also frustrated. We have a commissioner sitting here who takes a mask and puts it on and takes it off, puts it on and takes it off. She was seen at parties in the park without a mask on, selling tickets. She has her people here, so, she has to wear a mask. So I'm really disgusted with my own commissioner. And most of you know who that person is. This is what you call hypocrisy. And it's the height of hypocrisy. And I just hope somebody will run against her because it's time that she leaves office. The other thing, all these lawsuits that are coming against our county, when do we, the public, get to know what lawsuits are going on in these closed sessions and how much money of our tax money is going for these, and we have no say? I'm really tired of all these lawsuits. Do the job right or whatever's going on here, because We are not privy to this information, just like we're not privy to the information of all these illegals coming in and not knowing where they are. But now everybody wants masks and vaccines. Blame the illegals, blame your leaders. Thank you.
Okay, Karen Palmer is on Zoom. Karen, if you would unmute, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I would like to thank Commissioner Pego and the other commissioners who voted in favor of the resolution. I really think it's a good thing. I think it promotes the general health and welfare of our county. It allows people to recognize the importance of looking out for their own health and work with their own public or private healthcare person. One of your commissioners read in a pre-written statement, and I would like to see that placed on the public record. It was written in ahead of time. I want it placed on the record because, in part, she made some statements about what science has proven, and she calls those people who spread other information which differs from her opinion crazy, and she also calls us people who provide information. The science that she is, I'm assuming, going.
Okay, Karen.
We gone, Karen.
We done? Okay.
She's not on there at all
Thank
anymore.
you very much. That ends the public comment.
Brian Elred is on there with a hand up.
There's one more. There's one more. Brian Allred. Please unmute, Brian.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to the commissioners that voted in support of Commissioner Pago's resolution. I'm really grateful for that vote, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that ends the public comment. Now we have final board comments. Anybody?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
so I know we've had and are going to have a number of work sessions on spending the COVID relief funds. I'm not making a motion, but I'm making a statement to the administration and the rest of the boards. I really don't care to have another work session on how to spend this money. I've already made my decision. We're going to spend it on bricks and mortar for county infrastructure, whether that's the county courthouse or refurbishing, remodeling, retrofitting South Campus or moving South Campus. But I really don't need other organizations coming in here or other department heads coming in here how to spend this money. I am only interested in spending it on county-owned infrastructure, not departments. And that's just kind of my statement. And I'm probably not likely to set through too many work sessions continuing on for people with their hands out.
Anybody else? Marcia?
Yeah, I would like to continue to have it, and Mr. Laren can choose not to be informed.
Anybody? Yes. Ms.
Go ahead, Susie.
Yeah, I have. First of all, I'd like to address the supervisor of Fulton. You know, I attend a lot of the road commission meetings, and twice that I've been there, they've discussed the situation of ORVs. And once even my supervisor was there and discussed it and about Muskegon Township. So I know that it has been discussed there. So you might not have been able to find it, but it was definitely discussed at the road commission meetings. And I'd also like to thank my township because I did have some concerns about whether I should vote for or against the resolution. And my township recommended unanimously that I vote no. So that's what I did. So I appreciate their input and I value my township's support, and I value their input and how I vote for my residents.
Thank you, Mrs. Hughes. Mrs. Hooker?
Yes, I would like to echo what Commissioner Laring said. We've already exceeded more than double the request amount of money than what we even have coming in from these funds. I don't see it beneficial for our time or the people presenting if they're outside. I'll deviate a little bit from what he is saying. I wouldn't exclude any county departments, such as the sheriff. That's a mandated function that we have to have. Now, all these extra outside entities asking for this money, I am not in favor of continuing to listen to them either, because the money we have coming in is not enough. We've already got within our own county infrastructure needs and other things we've already deemed as, through a study that we've paid money to have done. It's just not beneficial. It is not being a good steward of time for anybody.
I agree, Mr. Chair. I agree with the comments.
I thought you were agreeing with me.
No.
If you agree with us, then you
We'll have to
would
talk
be.
about that.
May I address these?
Yes.
There was a few that Commissioners also asked for to hear a few other ones, but that's mindset has changed now since we listened to most of the directors. I mean, I think there is a point you're making that if feel like we're wasting the nonprofits or those who are not county affiliated are wasting their time. I mean, I think they would like to know that, but they have the opportunity to be reviewed and considered. Because the month of September is full. Every Tuesday, Thursday, we have work sessions scheduled.
I'd like to see the sheriff bump back up in front of all of these outside entities. They graciously, him and his officers had several of them sitting in here last week. And time went over and he had to reschedule. Now he's put back behind other entities that aren't even county affiliated. And the sheriff, the jail is a mandated function that should supersede any other outside entity. And I'm not interested in hearing these other entities. If we had excess of funds, maybe, but we don't. We already we have double the requests of the funds coming in than what we even have.
Well,
Doesn't make sense.
I'm hearing both. I mean, Marcia said she does want to hear.
I understand.
I would have to say for the two entities that are here today, one of them is our IT department, which is part of us.
No,
And the other one
absolutely.
is Town Buddies, which is also a part of ours.
I'm not talking about who's today.
Okay, I'm just saying both
I
of those are part of
understand.
the county.
I was talking about specifically, I saw the sheriff put on
Okay,
3 weeks from
yes.
now, whenever it was, and
And
he's got
my
all these other
volunteer
entities in
was
front of
from
him.
the other one.
And I'm not in favor of
I
that.
agree.
I'm not gonna sit around and listen to them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Well,
that's my 2
Shouldn't it
cents.
be a vote?
No. Not listen to any other.
Well, if they don't want to listen, they don't have to listen.
All right, just don't come, but I want to listen.
You know,
Yeah, I got 2 and 2 now, so you guys tell me.
You have 3.
3. that's
Kim,
right.
I want to
Zach and I. Doug?
Mark and I discussed this. He recently, you might want to talk about that meeting you were at recently for administrators around the state. And most counties are using the money in front of them.
Yeah, so I went to
That's where
the
it's.
county administration office, meaning administrators conference last week. Week and a half ago now already. That was the main discussion, how to deal with this. And there are actually some counties hiring firms to come in and they're charging 10% of what you receive. So there are spending $300,000 to have this organization come in and manage it. Now, since we lost Beth, Beth and Matt has been doing it, so now we definitely need help on this. Maybe the assistant county administrator would help do that, right? But there is some need for help to, no matter how we spend this money, because there's lots of requirements how it's monitored.
Yeah.
Now, most counties, there are some counties doing surveys. We've received one earlier from, I think it's Washington. They surveyed the community, what they wanted, why other counties are not entertaining any outside projects. So I'm hearing a variety of scope, one way or the other. But one thing that was common is people are hiring people to help manage this money.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, anybody else?
Just seeing the list that we have, I mean, I agree that, and Matt, you did a nice job in putting together, some of the recommendations. I mean, there's no question, I don't think in anybody's mind here that our buildings start falling apart and they're 20, 30 plus 40 years old in some cases and need some TLC. So, I know there's some really good causes out there, no question, but if we don't take care of our own infrastructure, the rest of it is meaningless at this point.
I think Mark was referring to extensive reporting requirements as we spend the money and track it. So it's not just we do this and that's, the end. There's a lot to it. And there's penalties involved. If you don't do things right, they could make you pay it back.
That's why I voted no on all this.
So, okay, that's it for final board comments, and I will adjourn.